She woke up every night, exactly at 3 a.m., no alarm, no noise, no apparent reason. But deep down, she felt it. Something invisible was there, present. Watching Dot at first, she tried to ignore it, thought it was just stress or paranoia. But the pattern repeated. Always at 3 a.m., always that feeling of being watched. The air grew heavy. Her skin would crawl. Her heart raced. Dot, there was something in the house. Something that moved when everyone was asleep. A presence that couldn't be explained. And the more she tried to understand it, the deeper the mystery became. And you? Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, feeling like someone was there? Have you ever felt a chill for no reason at all? Have you heard your name whispered when no one was around? Then stay with me until the end, because maybe you're also being awakened by something that doesn't want to be ignored. Anna was 37 years old when she decided to start her life over. After the end of a turbulent relationship, she rented a small house in a quiet neighborhood far from the city. It was exactly what she needed at that moment. Peace, silence, time for herself. At first, everything seemed normal. Anna spent her days trying to reorganize herself, emotionally, walking, meditating, writing in her journal. But it was during the night that everything started to change. Almost without realizing it, Anna began waking up, always at the same time, 3:03 a.m. At first, she thought it was just coincidence. Maybe stress, maybe the new mattress, or just a weird phase. But the frequency became unsettling. It wasn't simple insomnia. She would wake with her heart racing, her body cold, and a strange pressure on her chest, as if something invisible was lying on top of her, stopping her from breathing easily. The room, though closed, felt frozen. A cold that didn't come from the weather, but from within. A spiritual cold. The lights in the house began to flicker at random times. A lamp would turn on by itself. The TV would power up with static. And then came the recurring dreams of people she had never met. Dreams with cryptic messages, shadowy places, and voices calling her name. But the worst part wasn't the fear. It was what began to grow inside her. Thoughts that didn't feel like her own. Strange ideas, disturbing images, memories that weren't hers. Anna no longer knew if she was going insane, or if there was something in that house. Something old. Something that had been awakened. After so many sleepless nights, Anna had reached her limit. Fear was no longer a visitor. It had become a permanent resident. And that weekend, she did something she had never done before. She dropped to her knees beside the bed and prayed, God, if this is spiritual, if something is here, show me, reveal what's going on. But please protect me. The prayer was simple, but it came from a place of true desperation. That very night, Anna had a dream unlike all the others. She found herself in a long, endless hallway. The walls were stained, and on the floor were markings like footprints. But they weren't human. At the end of the hallway stood a figure, tall, still, cloaked in a dark robe. The face was hidden, but on the creature's chest, there was a symbol, an inverted shape, like a twisted, shadow-wrapped cross. Anna tried to scream, but no sound came out. She felt paralyzed, suffocated by a dense, cold energy. And when she finally managed to open her eyes, she woke up in shock, to a strong smell of burning in the air, as if something had been scorched inside her own room. But there were no candles, nothing out of place. The smoke had vanished, but the spiritual trace remained. That was the confirmation she needed. The very next morning, Anna sought spiritual help. She found a pastor, a family acquaintance, someone experienced in spiritual discernment and warfare. When he entered the house, he said nothing at first. He just closed his eyes for a few seconds. Then, with a deep and serious voice, he declared, "Someone opened a door here. This house is marked." A chill ran down Ana's spine. It was as if everything finally made sense, yet somehow became worse. Whatever was there hadn't arrived by accident. It had been invited, even if unknowingly. After the pastor's warning, Ana felt a mix of fear and hope. Now, finally, there was an explanation and a chance for a solution. During their conversation, the pastor asked about any objects left in the house. Ana hesitated, but eventually confessed something she had been holding on to for months. A small, old box with strange symbols drawn on the lid dot. It was a box she had kept from her previous relationship. Gifts, letters, some photos. And that mysterious object she had never opened. The pastor carefully approached, staring intently at the symbols. His face grew serious, and he said firmly, "This is the access point. This box is an open door to forces that should not be here." Ana shivered. What seemed like just a memory from the past was, in fact, an invitation to darkness. Without hesitation, the pastor removed the object from the house. He took it to a safe place and performed a ceremony of destruction and purification, burning the box and the symbols, praying with faith and authority that from that moment on, something changed in the house. The weight on Ana's chest began to ease. The cold slowly disappeared, and the feeling of presence faded away like mist at dawn. To understand what happened to Ana, we need to return to the profound teachings of the Scriptures. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 26, it is written, "You shall not bring an abomination into your house, lest you be dedicated to destruction, as was the one who was destroyed because of it." This passage warns us about the real danger of allowing impure or contaminated objects to enter our sacred space, our home, our body, our mind. But the opening of these spiritual doors goes beyond physical objects. They can also be created by deep and unresolved emotions, such as anger, hurt, or resentment that we carry without realizing. Negative words, curses, or even promises made, consciously or unconsciously, which open breaches for spiritual forces. And even occult practices, which we often don't even realize we engage in, whether out of curiosity, influence, or ignorance. These doors act as a silent invitation, allowing negative energies to come closer and influence our lives. In Ana's case, that object, charged with strange symbols and linked to a painful past, became a connection, an open channel for a presence that did not wish her well. It is a warning to all of us. Be careful what we allow to enter our life and space, for the invisible can be more real and dangerous than we imagine. Now that you know Ana's story and the origin of that presence, it's important to reflect on your own life. Have you ever felt a strange heaviness when trying to pray? Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, exactly at 3 a.m., gripped by an inexplicable fear or deep anxiety? It could be a subtle spiritual attack, an invisible form of disturbance, seeking to destabilize your balance. But know this, it doesn't mean you are alone or condemned. There are simple yet powerful steps you can take to protect yourself and strengthen your spirit. First, pray before going to sleep. Ask for protection, peace, and that divine light may cover your room and mind. Prayer is a spiritual armor that can repel many negative influences. Second, anoint and consecrate your home. Use anointed oil, holy water, or any symbol of faith that represents purification and protection of your space for you. Third, reject any object you feel carries negative energies. Do not allow objects from the past, gifts, or even spiritual curiosities to become openings for evil. And finally, seek discernment through constant prayer. Ask that your heart be guided and that you have clarity to identify what is true and what is deceitful. The spiritual battle is real, but victory is possible for those who walk with faith and protection. After facing fear, doubt, and darkness, Aino is finally set free. The presence that haunted her vanished, like smoke in the wind. For the first time in months, she slept in peace, with a calm heart and a light soul. This is not just Aina's story. It is a call to you who are watching now. Perhaps you are going through something similar, feeling trapped, scared, or even doubtful. I want you to listen closely. You are not crazy. You are not alone. God is awakening you, not to frighten you, but to prepare you, so that you may learn to protect yourself, to fight, to overcome. The battle is invisible, but the victory is real. And it begins when you decide not to ignore the call. If this message touched your heart, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share so that more people can be awakened. Together, we can walk this journey of faith, protection, and liberation. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment down below, "I am not alone," to show that you are ready for this spiritual battle. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more stories and teachings that strengthen your faith and protection. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Together, we are stronger. Let's walk this journey side by side.